weekend. Welcome inside Coors Field. The Rockies getting ready to go tonight, trying to snap a 6-game losing streak. Middle game of a 3-game set against the Oakland Athletics. And good evening, everybody. Glad as always that you're along with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. Yes, the Rockies are really struggling, but there's a guy that has forced his way into the everyday plans for Jim Tracy. That is Tyler Colvin. We've seen him all over the outfield of late. We've seen him at first base, and if you're swinging the bat like Colvin, George, you got to play.
Well, you got to play. You got to be in the lineup. Last night, let's start this ball game off with a happy note. A home run to left field. That obviously did that. A couple of walks in last night's ball game too. And oh, by the way, how about this catch? Dead center field, over the top of the wall, and brings it back to the house to save another one off the bat of Pennington. So again, the defense, the offense, all of it is playing a role for Tyler Colvin. He's a happy player right now, playing in this ballpark and actually playing everywhere. Look at the last 6 ball games here that he's played. .412 average, 4 home runs, 5 runs scored, 6 RBIs, 20 total bases. You can't ignore that as a manager.
No, absolutely not. He's done a very good job with given the opportunity. Dexter is going to be back in center field tonight. Tyler Colvin actually will be in left field. Carlos Gonzalez, a much-needed day of rest. He's been fatigued. So you'll see Dexter up top and Colvin actually batting in the 3-hole.
Well, Colvin also, look at his numbers against left-handers. I mean, it's off the charts, like 12 for 21. So you're not losing anything there. Obviously, he's comfortable left on left. And he's against a guy tonight that's kind of a finesse guy. It's not an overpowering fastball. So I think that plays into his hands also.
Yeah, a couple of lefties going today. Tommy Malone, a rookie, going for Oakland, and Josh Outman going for the Rockies. When we come back, we'll talk about Troy Tulowitzki. He was rehabbing down in Colorado Springs earlier in the day. 36 on the season. They're 0-7, which is unbelievable against the American League, considering since 2006 they have the best record against the American League of any National League team. Welcome back upstairs. I'm Drew Goodman. Troy Tulowitzki, who has been out for the better part of 2 weeks with a groin strain, started a rehab today. Good news and bad news. The good news is his first at bat for Colorado Springs, he had a home run. In his second at bat, he would single, and then he would tag up on a long fly ball, and as he started off the bag, he felt something. And because of that, he removed himself from the game. For more on Troy Tulowitzki's injury, here's Jim Tracy.
He went back to tag at first base, and he felt something that actually, in relation to the description that Doogie just gave me, it really scared him. You know, when he initially did this way back, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, the initial injury, that might have been like a 9 out of 9 or whatever. This one's at like a 1.5 to a 2. So it was more, it scared him. And so rather than push the envelope, we did the precautionary thing and removed him from the game.
Well, I suppose it's nice that you describe it as not real serious, but George, when you're talking about a leg injury, a groin injury, you're going to shut him down for a while now, and then you're going to be even more cautious in getting him back. I can't see any way that's not another couple of weeks at least.
Well, I mean, realistically, you're right. I mean, I don't know how we'd be able to get him back this quick either. I mean, Troy's the guy that's going to determine that with his health, but I think one thing to prove to Troy, he was an itch to get back by Friday in Detroit, to prove to him a little bit that it's not going to happen by Friday. Maybe I wasn't as ready as I thought I was, because as soon as I started the other activities, other than running, feeling some ground balls and hitting the bat, it's a little bit different.
You can protect the injury when you're in a guarded situation. Sure. It is very difficult to replicate actually playing the game when you're doing exercise on the side. So hopefully, again, it's not serious, but Troy Tulowitzki is going to be out for a while longer. Rockies are ready to go, trying to snap that losing streak. Rockies and A's, come on back to Coors Field with us. Sports is brought to you by your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, moving forward. By CenturyLink, fast speed and a low monthly price. Visit CenturyLink.com. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at Southwest.com. Hazy sunshine as Josh Outman takes the hill. A battle of left-handers this afternoon. Here's some good news. We need some good news around Coors Field right now. The Rockies George, on Wednesday this year, 8-2. It's kind of like the antithesis of what happens on Sunday.
Yeah, not a good day on Sunday, but Weeks is going to be a guy that's going to go out and face Altman right out of the chute, and I think this is something you got to look forward to. You're going to see some guys come up in their lineup that you should be able to handle with your fastball down and away. Quick outs, quick innings.
The rest of the batting order for Bob Melvin this evening, presented by Southwest.com. The former Arizona Diamondback Colin Cowgill will bat second. Seth Smith's really swinging the bat well. He'll bat third tonight. Then Yoenis Cespedes, a chance to see this young kid from Cuba who has unbelievable power. Brandon Inch hit a home run last night. Josh Donaldson behind the plate. Brandon Moss, 2 tape measure jobs last night. Cliff Pennington at short. Rookie Tommy Malone, a left-hander on the hill. So here's Jemile Weeks against Outman. And the first pitch of the ball game is down low, ball 1. Josh Outman came from the Athletics in that offseason deal that sent Seth Smith to the A's. So you know that he's going to be a little bit more jacked up for this start.
Well, it should be. I mean, he made 25 starts for them in his career before, a lot of things started to happen in January. He came over here to the Rockies when the Seth Smith trade. Lost to Arizona last week. Didn't make some pitches down in the zone. Felt like he didn't execute pitches when he needed to.
First 8 appearances this year for Outman, who was on the disabled list. We're out of the bullpen. Now he's been converted back to what he likes to do best, and that is starting. And that's on the inside corner with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. That levels the count at 2-2 on Jemile Weeks.
Well, when he came over to the Rockies, it was never etched in stone. You will be in the bullpen because of that power arm that he does have. I mean, they left the door open. He's getting his opportunity to start. Now go own it. Take it away from him.
And it runs the count full as that pitch was a little bit high. Deep pitch counts has been also part of the staple for Rockies starters. And Weeks fouls it off. Jemile was 2 for 4 last night. He was also hit by a pitch, hitting .302 over his last 16 games to raise his average to .228. On the ground to short. Scudero pulls it to his chest and over to Todd Helton, 1 out. Here's the Rockies defensively. Tyler Colvin starting in left field. He started in all 3 outfield spots over the last few days. Dexter's back in center, Kadire in right, Pacheco, Scudero, Chris Nelson again at second, Todd Helton at first, and Willeen Rosario's back behind the plate. Will Nieves did the catching last night. Colin Cowgill.
He pinch hit in last night's ball game, drove a ball to the wall in deep left field. A guy that's got pretty good power. You look at his stature, you might not think that, but he's got some power in his bat.
He's part of the Trevor Cahill deal in the offseason. Billy Beane wheeling and dealing last winter, which is not unusual for Billy Beane. Quickly an 0-2 count on Cowgill. A's, with their win yesterday, snapped a 3-game losing streak. And this is lobbed into right center field for a base hit. Tried to get him chase up high, and he did that, but he got enough of it to lift it to right center field. That'll bring up Seth Smith. In tonight's game, Root Sports is participating in the Home Run Challenge, where every home run will raise $14,000 for prostate cancer research. This is part of what Major League Baseball does every year in and around Father's Day. You can make a pledge. We encourage you to do that by calling 1-800-798-CURE. That's 800-798-CURE. Or go online to PCF.org. One 1-0 on Seth. 2 doubles in his first 2 at-bats last night, and then in his 3rd at-bat he had a rocket to right that was chased down by Kadire. That misses 2-0. Here's a little bit more on his work last night. First at bat, he lifts a fly ball double that fortunately bounced out of play, and ground rule double. It would have scored a run otherwise. And then this off the base of the wall in center field. That played it too. Seth's locked in pretty good, and this ball is hammered to right center field, and this is going to get on out of here. Off the back wall of the A's bullpen. Seth Smith gives the Athletics a 2-0 lead. He always would quietly make a statement that he wanted to play against lefties.
Well, he showed you maybe that's why he's making that statement, yet numbers prove the last couple of years in a Rockies uniform struggled against left-handers, but not struggling on a fastball when it's center cut middle of the plate. That's exactly what this was. I mean, you talk about back leg drive and extension for Smith. He knew it when it left the bat, drops the head, and it's the soft trot around the base paths.
6th home run for Seth Smith. Yoenis Cespedes out of Cuba, and a ball up the middle. What a play by Nelson. He got him. What a play by Chris Nelson. He was shaded up the middle. By the time he finished that throw, he was between short and third, 30 feet on the outfield grass.
Playing up the middle allowed him to even get to this baseball, but the strong throw, that shortstop's arm pops up and Helton's toe right on the corner of the bag, perfectly stretched out. That is a highlight play and a big league play.
And you know what, George, you described it accurately. It took a left side of the diamond arm to make that play. You can't have average arm strength to make the play Chris Nelson just did.
You probably just eat the baseball. There's no sense to even throw it.
That's down low to Brandon Inge. Well, with that home run by Seth Smith, $14,000 has been raised to support prostate cancer research. To make a donation, again, you can call 798-CURE, 1-800-798-CURE. Go online to pcf.org. Two and one on Inge. And a more routine play for Chris Nelson. Unfortunately, the Rockies can't get out of the first inning unscathed again. Josh Outman giving up a 2-run jack to Seth Smith. And today they will play catch up. The A's with a 2-run home run for Seth Smith, who's now 14 for his last 25 at the plate. Dexter Fowler back in the leadoff spot. And the rest of the lineup, as written out by Jim Tracy, Southwest.com, will have Marco Scutaro, Tyler Colvin, 2 and 3. Again, Carlos Gonzalez being given the day off. The manager felt like he needed some rest. Michael Kadire, Todd Helton, Jordan Pacheco, Wilene Rosario, Chris Nelson, and Josh Outman.
Well, the left-hander Malone, you see this, 13th start of the season, 6-5 overall, has enjoyed the home front, 4-1, 098. The road, 2-4, 635. A strike thrower out of the University of Southern California. In his 3 years there, went 16-17 with a 478. Interesting note to add on to that about USC players. He was the 100th former Trojan to play at the big league level, which is the most of any collegiate program.
Well, it was actually just tied, George, in the last couple of weeks
by
Arizona State.
Well, see, I would have thought when I read that today, I was looking at it and I was like, sure about Arizona State, man? They used to throw them out 3-4 times a year. You seem like a guy get to the big leagues.
2-1 on Dexter. That misses. 3-1. Rockies are 7-5 when Dexter leads off. Dexter was 17 for 32 and then tailed off a little bit of late. 2 for his last 16. And that's called a strike by Mike Winters. Mark Wegner, Wally Bell, Brian Knight also working the ball game, and that looked a little low. Fouled straight back by Dex. And another fastball fouled off. Rockies lost 8-5 yesterday. They had a 4-0 early lead, as I mentioned. It is now the 7th time this year that the Rockies have lost a game that they've led by at least 3 runs. And that is officially ball 4. The Phillies, George, have lost 6 times when they've had a 3-run lead or more. That's surprising. The Mariners 5 times, and then a couple of teams 4 times, the Orioles and the Chicago Cubs, and we all know how bad it's been for the Chicago Cubs. That'll bring up Marco Scutaro. He continues to swing the bat well. Scutaro last night 2 for 5, including a triple. And Marco with a base hit through the right side. Dexter takes the turn. He's headed to third. Smith will throw it through. A good job by Cliff Pennington deking Marco Scutaro. First and third. Nobody out. Tyler Colvin coming up.
Take advantage of the hole to the right side, and Scutaro does a good job with this. Mike Shaw, Subaru Supermo, will demonstrate the inside out swing. Elbow very tight to the body. And then the ball to the right side, you'll see the yards hole on the right side of the infield. Easy to shoot this ball through that area. It's exactly what he does. Dexter had to hesitate. I'm not sure Smith thought he was going to charge. Smith did come after that ball extremely fast in right field. Now one more look at the run of Dexter Fowler. The wide turn so he can make a shorter cut at second on his way into third.
So here's Colvin hitting well over 400 left on left. And he takes strike 1.
And the last 3, how much harder can you get? 4 home runs, 6 RBIs, 5 runs, 7 for 10. 3 walks mixed in with it.
And he's taking home runs away also, as we saw at the top of the program. That's down low, 1-1. Colvin hitting .414 left on left this year, 12 for 29. Yesterday, his leadoff home run. First time in his career he's hit a leadoff home run. Tonight is game 61. Cargo's been in the 3-hole 57 times this year. In the previous 3 games that he had the day off, Tulo batted third, and now with Tulo not available, it's Colvin. The 1-1, that's foul.
I think part of his benefit at home against left-handers anyway has come where they try to overpower a slider and they hang it right in the middle of the plate, and boy, when they do, he has made them pay for it.
Malone's not a big strikeout guy, and he doesn't walk many people. He's been impressive as a rookie. One, two. We haven't had an opportunity to show you who's playing where defensively for Oakland. We'll do that right now. Yoenis Cespedes is in left field. He can play center also. Colin Cowgill's out there today. Seth Smith in right. Inge and Pennington left side. Jamal Weeks, Brandon Moss right side. And doing the catching, Josh Donaldson. He's a pretty versatile player. He plays a lot of third base also. He's brought up from Sacramento recently.
Somewhat of an erratic arm, 5 errors, but a lot of that has come, as you mentioned, playing in another position besides catcher. One of the first times he'd thrown the big hook, he did it at 76, and he gets the strikeout of Cole.
Now you're into more of a running situation. More difficult, obviously, with the left-handed pitcher. With Kadire coming up, you want to stay away from that double play. Scutaro has been a very good selective base runner. 6 for 8.
Yeah, for me, I'd like to see Kadire get a couple of shots before they try to take off on the run. And the only reason I say that, with the left-hander on the mound that has a decent move to first, it would I'd like to see Scutaro have an opportunity to get a fly ball with just 1 out. Once you get a strike or 2 strikes on you, different story.
Kadire sitting on 39 RBIs. And it's 2-0.
Such a good fastball hitter. Last night got that first pitch fastball right down the middle and just turned on it. Today he's laid off with 2 off-speed pitches in his at bat, and he's ahead 2-0.
Look at those numbers. Runners in scoring position, 373. And it's 3-0. Helton's on deck.
Not a guy you want to face with runners in scoring position, even though his average is down this year for Todd Helton. But what he has been able to do with runners in scoring position, the month of June, Todd has hit .292 with men in scoring position. Strike. .313 on the season. He's had 48 chances.
(3-1) and ball 4, and now they're loaded up for help. Rockies down 2-0. We're at the bottom of the first inning. Fowler a walk, Scutaro a single. Now Kadire a walk. Last night Todd Helton had 1 hit, but it went a long way. His 6th home run of the year.
This year, Todd with the bases loaded, 3 for 4. The Rockies 250.
And Helton a little bit tardy on that swing on the fastball. 0-1.
See if he follows the same pattern that he did with Colvin. After that first pitch fastball to get ahead, then it was a lot of off-speed stuff.
Here's the 1-1. And it's 2-1.
What does he have, a great eye or what?
He has a great eye. Tommy Malone has watched enough baseball, even though he's a 25-year-old rookie, that he knows he's got to throw strikes to help. He's not going to chase. 2-1.
And I'll tell you something else about Todd. The more looks he gets at you via foul balls or your ability not to throw strikes, you can take a shot at that.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Just 1 out. And Helt drives this ball to deep right center field, way back and gone. That is a grand slam for Todd Helt. Number 7 of his career, his 2nd on the season. And the Rockies are on top 4-2.
Well, obviously those RBI totals could jump in a hurry when you start coming in bunches like this, and that's exactly what Todd got. How much fun is it to watch it no matter where you are in the ballpark, and a fan of Todd's with the fist in the air.
How about the Rockies, the grand salamis this year? That is their 5th of the season.
Slider with a little bit of cement mixture spin. It stayed right in the middle of the plate. Todd read that thing right out of the hand.
The old 4 RBI home run. You got to love it. 0-2 on Jordan Pacheco. The slider misses. And now 2's the count on Pacheco. Oh, home runs in back-to-back ball games. RBI total at 32. And that's a base hit for Jordan. Well, the Rockies and A's raising a lot of money early here. Todd Helton's grand slam just raised another $14,000 for prostate cancer research. Make a donation by calling 1-800-798-CURE or pcf.org online.
You know what? Sometimes to see Todd doing this now after struggling at the start, to see him hitting baseballs, oh man, what a great camera shot. The Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. I mean, that's fun to watch. Fun to watch Todd have these results. Well, you thought it was going to be an ugly start to the night. It turned pretty in a hurry, didn't it?
It's been back and forth. Pacheco went first move, blast to third. Angel have to go to first. Rosario retired for the 2nd out, and that'll bring up Chris Nelson. Chris had an RBI single last night, a couple home runs. He's driven in 10. And now they're going to go ahead and put him on here in the 1st inning and work to Josh Outman. Donaldson got down initially as if they were going to pitch to him.
So how many pitches last night did Colon throw in the first? Was it what? How many was it? 38, 39 in the 1st inning last night, Doug?
That was 40, wasn't it?
Colon threw 30 in the 1st inning last night. This kid's at 30. Well, take off the 4 for the walks. 30 legitimate pitches to the plate. 2 big 1st innings going against this A's staff. But if they learned, the offense learned one thing from last night's ball game. Just try to get us 5, keep the offense a little quiet for you.
Who wants tacos? Remember, when the Rockies score 7 or more during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6. Get your Rockies taco special. Todd with that home run, by the way. Tied for 79th on the all-time home run list with Luis Gonzalez, who we just saw when we were down in Phoenix, and Lee May. Remember big Lee May?
Oh, yeah.
Josh Outman at the plate. And he takes ball 1. Now, if Outman George could bunt, Brandon Inge is 15 feet behind the bag at third.
Well, you never know. Maybe he can.
And it's hitting that direction. On through a base hit. Pacheco will get a green light. Here's the throw to the plate. And safe at the plate is Pacheco. And everybody's going to move up. Make it 5-2. Josh Outman coming through with an RBI single. We have to look back to last year very quickly, see if he had any hits in interleague play. That may be his first big league knock. That is numero uno for Josh Outman. And you know, it feels a little better coming against his former club.
Well, you'd think so. I mean, that would make you feel really good after you gave up the 2-run home run to your former club. Then you come up and you make this move. Strong throw from left field. Escaped Donaldson. And Malone didn't back up. That allowed everybody to move up a base. Dexter's like, didn't I just do this a minute ago? But I didn't want to do that. I'd rather walk like I did or get a base hit.
Well, the Rockies gave up 2 in the first, but they counter with 5 of their own as they send 10 to the plate against rookie Tommy Malone. The big blow, you know what it is. Todd Helton with his 7th career slam. Josh Outman, an RBI base hit later in the inning. The Rockies have a 5-2 lead as we go to the second. Time now for tonight's McDonald's Sideline Report. Wake up with McDonald's, where a small coffee is only $1 on the dollar menu at breakfast. I'm loving it. Let's check in with Mark Stout. Mark?
Hey, Drew, George. Josh Outman, surprise, surprise, with an RBI single. Not really. He was an outfielder originally, even at junior college, so he could swing the stick a little bit. Grew up outside of St. Louis, was a Cardinals fan, a Barry Zito fan when he was with Oakland. Then he became an A. The Phillies traded him to Oakland. He told me in Oakland he really took no batting practice at all, but Glenn Allen Hill has helped him since coming to the Rockies, and it pays off here in the first inning. Let's go back to the booth, guys.
Anytime you have a pitcher that can legitimately help themselves in the National League, it's a bonus.
Particularly bunting the ball, being able to slap up, being able to hit and run. You know, I like what Willian's doing here a little bit. You go out because he had to run the bases and advance up. A lot of times pitchers get tired. So what you do, you know, you're short-winded. You're not tired, short-winded. Particularly at altitude, you go out and slow things down, let them catch their wind, talk to them a few minutes, and then let's go back and get her going.
Josh Donaldson at the plate. And he takes a strike. He was a sandwich pick by the Cubs back in 2007 out of Auburn. Last year in Sacramento, hit 18 home runs, 17 home runs. 2 years ago, he hit 18. Outman looking for a quick inning, aren't they always? Here's the 2-1. And that's fouled off. And Outman runs the count full on Donaldson, 3-2. And it's on the ground to Scudero on the backhand. Sets his feet. Talk about course knowledge in golf. George, part of your preparation as a fielder, particularly an infielder, is know who's up. And you saw Scudero take his time after the backhand. He had a guy out of the right side of the box that is a catcher. Unless you have inside knowledge, you figure a catcher's not going to be Jamal Weeks going up the line.
Well, what you also look for is the pitch from what's being thrown. It allows you to cheat over. Slider down and in from a left-hander to a right-handed bat typically is going to get pulled to the left side. So you cheat over a couple of steps. Sinker down and away, cheat the other way a couple of steps. I mean, it's the knowledge of the game of not going out and saying, okay, I want to stand right here and use my athletic ability to be able to go make a play.
0-1 on Brandon Moss. He had himself a night yesterday. First two home run game in his career.
He's done pretty well at Coors Field. 8 for 17, 471 average. He had 15 home runs in 51 games in Sacramento this year.
Yeah, I was talking to Chili Davis. He was in Lehigh Valley last year because he's bounced around organization to organization. And Chili saw him in Lehigh Valley. There's Chili. And he said, let me tell you what he did last night was not a fluke. He said, this guy has incredible power. And that's a good breaking ball. 2-2. And Chili knows his home runs.
It's just a matter of where he's hit 25, 28, 23 at the minor league level. You got to do it at the big league level. But you've got to be presented the opportunity to do it at the big league level.
Slider, strike 3. Outman makes a nice pitch on Brandon Moss. First strikeout for Josh Outman. Second out of the inning. Cliff Pennington coming up. Cliff thought he had himself a home run last night. In fact, it would have been his second of the game. Our Home Depot doing more on defense, going over the wall. Tyler Colvin and pulling it back. Home Depot, more saving, more doing. Inside, ball 1 on Pennington. Cliff out of Texas A&M. On the ground to third. Pacheco charges and plenty of arm to throw out Cliff Pennington. Very nice 1-2-3 inning for Josh Outman. Rockies leading 5-2. Scutaro, Colvin, and Kadire. For the second inning, join in on the conversation with Toyota Talk. Text Toyota to 720-720 and fire some questions at us. We'll try to provide you with answers. Learn how to win a $500 gas card as well. That's Toyota Talk. Well, the A's tried to give Yoenis Cespedes the day back in left field. Evidently, that hamstring is not well because now Johnny Gomes is out there, George, after just an inning and a half.
Well, he had a sprint earlier when he sprinted up first baseline, tried to beat the ball out. Maybe something there, felt a little tweak, decided to maybe it'd be a smart thing to do is take some time off with it.
Scutaro base hit to right his first time up. 1 ball and 1 strike. So Johnny Gomes for Yoenis Cespedes, and that's a bummer not only for Cespedes but for us. I was looking forward to watching him play. Heard a lot about him. He's had trouble staying healthy here in his first year in the big leagues, moving from Cuba. Set all kinds of home run records in Cuba. This is lined at Johnny Gomes, 1 out. Here's Cespedes, see if we can pick up if he restrained the hamstring. Yep. One thing you can tell just looking at him, George, physically, that's a big, strong man.
Very big, strong man. I was trying to look at the body type and, do some comparison. Is it a young Manny Ramirez? I mean, that's, Ramirez was really thick in the upper half, lower half, very muscular legs when he ran. So did you ask Chili when Manny's coming?
We didn't. Excuse me.
Kind of forget he's there, don't you?
Well, he's hitting, the last I looked, he's hitting about 255. Sacramento played down in Colorado Springs. I did note that he had a couple hits, a couple of RBIs a few days ago against the Sky Sox. But he hasn't been lighting it up.
Guerrero got his release from Toronto after he'd hit a couple of home runs down in Dunedin, but then did not advance to the big leagues like he thought he should have out of Las Vegas. So he asked for his release yesterday. Vladimir Guerrero is now looking to play for a baseball team.
Michael Kadire will come up, 2 outs and nobody on. 2-0 on Kadire. Michael walked and came around on the Todd Helton grand slam in that 5-run first inning for the Rockies. 3-0. Malone has some splits that really get your attention. At home, he is 4-1 with an 0.98 ERA. On the road, 2-4 with a 6.35 ERA.
Be a little higher ERA right now on the road.
Just a little bit. Here's the 3-1.
Well, the one guy they really thought about, Fred Anderson. That
this was leaned on to deep center field, and Kadire's hit it out. Number 8 for Michael Kadire. And the Rockies lead it 6-2. You talk about staying back and staying through it. That was the swing right there for the Rockies right fielder.
Well, he's everything he thought he was going to be when he came from the Minnesota Twins. Steady player, plays hard, shows up every day to do the best that he could possibly do. Right out of the hand on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo, you'll see this rotation of the baseball away. Anytime you get a right-handed power hitter extension away where he can use full leverage to drive the ball, the results typically are not good. This was not good for Mr. Malone. Great for the Rockies.
And now Helton up there. He's got a 2-0 count. Outside corner, 2-1. Well, that is a textbook swing on a pitch away. Let it travel and ripped it over 400 feet to right center field, and I mean deep right center field. And another 14 grand. This is wonderful. Raised for prostate cancer research. Give that number a call, 800-798-CURE. Go online at pcf.org to make a donation. Any amount is greatly appreciated. Here's the 2-2 on Todd. 3-2.
I remember the phone call I got this winter from Bert Blyleven, and it followed with one from Dan Gladden, who does radio and TV, and both guys love Michael Kadire. They were very disappointed the Twins couldn't match the offer to keep him in a Twins uniform.
Well, as we've learned, George, since spring training, you understand very quickly why Dan Gladden and your old teammate Bert Blyleven felt that way. He's just a good guy.
Well, he gets it. He gets what he needs to do for the fans, for the media, for his team, for the locker room, all of those things. He knows exactly what it takes to be a winner.
Tommy Malone's not having a lot of fun out there. He got 2 outs, and then the home run by Michael Kadire, and now a walk to Helton. That's the 3rd walk he's issued, and here comes Jordan Pacheco, who's never an easy out. Malone was a 10th round pick of the Washington Nationals. He was part of the Gio Gonzalez trade.
Another promising young catcher that's playing very well AAA Sacramento, and Derek Norris.
This ball's well hit center field. Cowgill started in. Now he'll go back and he'll make the catch. In the inning, Michael Kadire extends the Rockies' lead to 4 runs. 6-2 Rockies. Will come back with inning number 3. to you by the Ford Edge. Class-defining style, revolutionary technology. Ford Edge, go further. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank. Member FDIC. And by King Soopers, more value for the way you live. The Ducks are happy. They've been well fed. The fountains have gone off twice tonight. There have been 3 home runs, 2 Rockies home runs, a grand slam by Todd Helton, a solo home run by Michael Kadire a few moments ago. 6-2 Colorado. Josh Outman feeds the strike zone there against Tommy Milone. It's 1-1. We are excited about the Rockies home runs, and the gentleman that we're going to welcome in here in a moment is absolutely ecstatic about the home runs hit tonight. Jordan Pacheco throws out Tommy Milone, 1 out. We see this gentleman every year right around Father's Day. He's done great work through out Major League Baseball the last several years, raising money in the name of prostate cancer research. Michael Milliken, of course. We usually have Tommy with you. How's Tommy feeling?
Tommy is doing much better. He's at home watching this game. He called me when we were out in the field earlier to wish us good luck and a lot of home runs, and I told him the Rockies wouldn't let them down, and they're off to a great start.
And of course I referenced Tommy Lasorda, who is partners with Michael in this wonderful endeavor, and already $42,000 raised tonight.
That is correct. This is our 17th year on the Home Run Challenge, and we raise money for every home run hit in selected ball games.
On the ground at third. What a play by Pacheco. And Jamal Weeks will head back to the dugout.
And we've raised $40 million over the years for home runs.
Amazing.
And that has been matched 20-1 by matches from government agencies, other donors. So we've raised almost $800 million. And the death rate has dropped by almost 50% for men with prostate cancer. And we're well on our way to eliminating prostate cancer as a cause of death. And it all started with the idea of coming out to this beautiful ballpark and reminding your dad or your brother or your father to get checked for prostate cancer.
Well, Major League Baseball does a wonderful job in helping with breast cancer research around Mother's Day, and with dads and prostate cancer research, which actually for men, amazingly, is the frequency rate that people are diagnosed with that is even greater than that of breast cancer, and we know how serious that is in our
1
nation.
in 6 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, 1 in 8 women with breast cancer, and there isn't a family that isn't touched by some form of cancer. 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women in their lifetime. And this awareness program, the idea of keeping dad in the game was the original theme, has really worked out well. And we love coming to this ballpark. You know, over the last 15 years, we've seen some unbelievable games.
And home runs.
Right. And I'll never forget 1999, I had over 300 home runs hit that year in this ballpark. So it's been really a great pleasure. And you know, the thing you do for kids in this ballpark are just fantastic. As we walk around and we bring our armbands, we want to make sure you're wearing your blue. And you'll notice tonight I have my keep dad in the game.
You know, I just noticed that. I didn't realize initially, Michael.
I'm looking forward to
I like those.
You like that keep dad in the game eye glare there? But that was really the idea behind it. You know, there's very few sports you can come out, have a wonderful evening, and talk to the other person. It's hard to do that at a basketball game or some other type of sports activity.
Cowgill goes down. No home runs in that particular inning. Michael, it's always a pleasure to see you, and most importantly, continued good success with this wonderful endeavor.
Thank you, and PCF.org. You can learn a lot about nutrition.
We're going to continue to pitch that, and I don't think it'll be the last home run we see tonight. Michael Milliken, who's normally with his partner Tommy Lasorda, back in a moment. the bottom of the third inning. And our thanks to Michael Milliken, as the entire Major League Baseball family, along with all of you and your very kind donations, to raise money to eradicate prostate cancer. Willeen Rosario hit a smash to third his first time up. 7, 8, 9 for the Rockies against the rookie Tommy Malone. Rosario is 1 for 19 in interleague play. And Rosario is gone. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Chris Nelson will step up after the strikeout to Rosario, second for Malone. Josh Outman, Georgia, settled in nicely after the 2-run home run in the first inning by Seth Smith. Oh, and 2 on Nelson.
Isn't it great, though? You look at the pitcher in the on-deck circle after he gets a knock. He's got his legs spread out. He's getting his stance, getting his swing right. Got the weighted bat all of a sudden. Now they think I'm Willie Mays all of a sudden. No. But it does feel good when you get that first knock. That's fun.
It sure feels good to contribute after. I'm sure he was upset giving up the 2-run home run in the first inning. The Rockies countered with 5 in the first. Kadire hit a home run in the second. 2-2 count on Chris Nelson. Bounced foul.
Celebrate Independence Day early with the Rockies after the Rockies-Padres game Saturday, June 30th. Stay for the best fireworks town in show, as you can imagine, here at this ballpark, courtesy of Coca-Cola and King Soopers. Don't miss out. Get tickets today. That's June 30th here at the ballpark. Boy, nasty pitch. Very well placed inside corner.
So Chris is gone. Pitch looked like it was in, according to the Ford strike zone.
You know, that's the hardest thing. I think when you're struggling, you try to be patient, try to widen your zone, try to make sure you're swinging at good pitches, not bad pitches. And then a guy paints you, and an umpire calls it a strike. A lot of different things.
That's a strike on Outman at 88. Here's Josh Outman's first career knock and RBI.
See, mine wasn't on video. I don't have a copy of that. See, with today's age, sure, Jonesy's sitting down there. He can make him a DVD and keep it forever. Show it to his young daughter.
Who was your first hit against?
Ray
Burris.
Ray Burris.
See, I even know that. I've been around you so long. I'm
a part-timer.
And you got to hold on. The first guy you punched out was hold on.
Mejias.
Yeah, Sammy Mejias.
3-2 slider. See,
Sammy Mejias.
That part I remember.
I remember it too, like I was there.
But I didn't want to remember the hit because I got picked off on the next throw.
That's okay. Did your damage. 6-2 Rocks. See inning. Well, take your choice. Second and third inning, both been very good for Josh Outman. We'll go second inning. Josh Donaldson, a routine ground ball to short. Brandon Moss was next. He got locked up on a slider. And then Cliff Pennington hit a two-hopper to third. Nice play by Jordan Pacheco. Learn about energy efficiency and how to save money in your home by visiting responsiblebynature.com. Rocky 6, Athletics 2. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Mark Stout. Seth Smith will lead it off in the fourth inning. Outman, after giving up the two-run home run to Smith in the first, has retired 8 in a row.
The difference in pitches, too. 18 in the first, 14-11. The third, obviously, being a very efficient inning with a strikeout and a couple of ground ball outs. Would like to see a repeat of that. But the key's been getting ahead with strike one. Different part of their lineup now than what you were facing earlier with Smith, Gomes, and Hinge coming up.
It's the 1-0 on Smitty, and that misses. 2-0. Smith came in 5 for 23 against lefties with 1 home run, so he's moved the average to 250 with a couple of home runs with that one swing.
And they just moved Scudero over. He was on the shortstop side, even though pulled at second base. They moved him over onto the second base side of second base, kind of setting up for Smitty's dead pull, leaving the left side wide open.
And that's what they did with him last night. He went. So not many opportunities against lefties this year. Two on Smith, and it's hit on the ground to Ty Waller. Swung on and missed. High heat at 96 miles an hour. And Outman has his third punch out as we check in with Mark Stout. Mark, what do you know?
Hey, Drew George, since we're reminiscing about Frazier's career, you got to remember this day in 1984, Frazier, when you were traded from the last place Indians to the first place Cubs. The Indians had a similar record to what the Rockies do now. I just want you to take us back to that day. Talk about when you found out about the trade going from Cleveland to Chicago.
Well, it was the greatest day of my life. I went from 26 out to 3 up in a matter of about 8 hours. Oh, they ended up trading Sutcliffe, myself, and Ron Hassey went over, and of course Mel Hall, Joe Carter, and about 2 or 3 minor league pitchers went in that trade over to the Cleveland Indians. Obviously, the Cubs went on to win the eastern half, got beat. Ball's hit well into left center field. They're going to give chase.
And Johnny Gomes hit it off the top of the wall. He'll have a double in his first at bat. Go ahead, George.
Cubs took a 2-0 lead on the Padres, and unfortunately, Cub fans are still waiting for the World Series. Come back for a while. Hadn't happened. 89, they waited. Now, there's been a few years in between there, too.
Who are you playing in front of? Where were the bigger crowds, in Cleveland or in Chicago?
It's about the time everything kicked in Chicago, realistically. It really did. Right about 83, 84, some Cub fans started coming out. Harry Carey was over. He was doing his dance on top of the dugout, selling Budweiser. Everybody was pretty excited about Cub baseball, and that's when they really started to draw. I can remember going to Chicago, and Dale Goldsmith, a friend of mine, sat down the right field line. I was in a Cardinal uniform. He had a season ticket right above the visitors' bullpen mounds. There was nobody else in those last 4 sections of the stadium. They had to assign one guard to go down and stand next to him to keep everybody else out of there, and that's where he wanted his season ticket. Nobody showed up at the Cub game.
Frazier, how good was Sutcliffe that year? Because he had 11 wins with the Indians. He won like the day before.
Well, he went 16 wins, I think 3 losses. He won the Cy Young that year. And Ron Hassey tore his knee up in a game against San Diego. So he didn't really play a factor for that last month and a half. But Sutton, I think that year won 22 games between us. That was a fun year in Chicago, I can tell you that. Nothing like winning in a windy city. Fans got behind you in a hurry.
And still do on a club that's not performing well at all. They still draw a pretty sizable amount of fans on a nightly basis, or I should say daily basis.
Oh, and 2 on Brandon Inge. 9 straight retired before that Gomes double.
Cleveland Indians, you know, that wasn't that bad a ball club. Burt Blyleven was on that starting staff. Sutcliffe, and it wasn't horrible. I remember for opening day, 83,000. The next day was 680. It was bad. That old ballpark.
The mistake by the Lake. Swung on, foul tip, and it popped out of the glove of Willeen Rosario. So Brandon Inge is still alive. We had Moreland and Sandberg.
Well, that ballpark was really made for, the club was made for that ballpark. I mean, Moreland couldn't run and right. You had Sargent left that had really 1.5 knee. I mean, it was bad for him. Ron Say and Boa on the left side, Sandberg and Durham on the right side, and Jody Davis behind the plate.
That was a veteran club.
Very veteran club, but it played well. It really played well at Wrigley because Denier covered basically foul line to foul line in center field.
They always have one guy that can run,
yeah.
but most of the time the Cubs are waiting to hit the ball over the wall.
That's all they were trying to do. Yeah, we had a lot of guys on that club that could do just that too.
And Cespedes with a left hamstring strain, kind of figured that. That's up the middle, a base hit, and Johnny Gomes is going to score, and it's going to be 6-3. Brandon Inge has driven in his 29th run since being picked up by Oakland when he was released by Detroit. He has 29 RBIs, or excuse me, 27 now with Oakland in 25 games. 29 overall. He did have a couple of RBIs.
And he had a good year in AAA. I mean in AAA. He had a good year in Detroit last year. There just wasn't any room for him when they signed Cecil Fielder. Excuse me, Prince Fielder. There wasn't any room for him in Detroit. And at third base was Cabrera.
Josh Donaldson at the plate. Ground ball to short last time for Donaldson. Inside ball 1. In the last outing for Outman, it did not go well in Arizona. And to continue to work to get his pitch count up, Outman then went to the Rockies bullpen, and while the game was going on, he threw another 35-40 pitches or so.
Well, that's what you see a lot of times. The Rockies have a rule in the minor leagues. If you throw more than 30 pitches in an inning, you're done. And a lot of times they'll get through with that 30 weighted inning, then go down and continue to throw another 60 pitches to get their 90 in. And that's to maintain that arm strength and endurance. And that's something that Outman's trying to get stretched out to field in that spot. He's going to have a pretty good. Taylor made double play. Unfortunately, bobbled. It doesn't go down as an error, but it goes down as extending some pitches on Outman.
4-6 on the force out, as Chris Nelson could field it cleanly. Kind of played himself, George, into an in-between hop.
You know what? I just think the ball scooted up on him and got in the middle of him, and I think he was thinking about rotating those hips and getting a strong throw over to scooter him. That's, you know, baseball's a funny game. You saw him make that great play back up the middle too.
Brandon Moss hits it in the air to deep left field, and this ball is gone. And now, how painful was that missed opportunity at a double play? Moss goes deep for the third time in 24 hours, and it is a 6-5 affair.
See, sliders and curveballs out last time. This time, fastball up first pitch. And it wasn't a strike, but it allowed Moss to extend his arms. When he did, he's just able to creep it over that left field wall.
Fourth home run of the night, 2 for Oakland and 2 for the Rockies. Smith a 2-run home run in the first. Now Moss a 2-run home run in the fourth. Helton has a grand slam for Colorado, a solo home run for Michael Kadire. Moss in his career 13 for 26 against Rockies pitching, and that's a base hit. Cliff Pennington reaches. Well, think back. 9 in a row set down by Josh Outman, then the Gomes double, an in single. Donaldson, fielder's choice, 2-run home run, another single. A reminder, another $14,000 has been raised, $56,000 tonight already. You can participate. We appreciate your dollars. Donate at 1-800-798-CURE or PCF.org. This would be very difficult to look up, but has there been a night that Bob Apodaca has not had to make at least one visit to the mound?
Homer Road.
Either.
Homer Road.
Tommy Malone at the plate.
Malone swing the bat a little bit. He had a couple of RBIs. The notes indicated that. 250 average this year. Difficult for Todd over at first base right now. His son just starting to set over that left field corner.
0-2. Pop fly to center field. Dexter with the long strides gets there. 3 runs in the inning, 2 coming around on the home run by Brandon Moss, and it's just a 1-run game now. The Rockies 6 and the A's 5. Summary, a lot of long balls tonight. In the first inning, Seth Smith, the former Rocky, who had a big night last night, hit a 2-run home run off Josh Outman. But the Rockies countered in the bottom of the first. Number 17 hitting his 7th career grand slam, 2nd this year. And the Rockies, though, were not done in that inning. They had another run on a base hit by Josh Outman. Michael Kadire getting in on the long ball out. And then in the 4th inning, just a few minutes ago, a 2-run home run off the bat of Brandon Moss. 6-5 Rockies lead, and they'll have the top of the order in the 4th inning to face Tommy Malone.
Well, when you get punched, you got to counter punch. You got to get up off your backside and go right back out and try to add to it. I know it sounds crazy. They could put 6 on the board. That should be enough for this ball club to continue on and have a win in a ballpark. I don't care where you're playing.
First pitch on the inside corner, strike on Dexter. He shortened up to bunt. That naturally gets Brandon Inge's attention. Opens up a little space on that left side, and this one hits slowly to Inge. He'll go sidearm, trying to keep it out of the sun.
I don't know if they even saw that.
5 in a row retired now by Tommy Malone.
Catch a ball on that one.
Kind of reminded me, but it was from a longer distance, a frustrated Jeremy Guthrie last night on a comebacker. Threw about a 93-mile-an-hour two-seamer from 50 feet away to Todd Helton. And a lot of sun for that first baseman to deal with this time of year, this time of night. Scudero 1 for 2.
Well, what the problem is, you warm up in between innings and you're maybe a kind of a low 3/4 throw, and they can see the ball out of your hand. Then about 10 minutes later or 5 minutes later, all of a sudden that's right smack in the middle of the sun. So then you don't know where to go with the ball for the first baseman to pick it up.
One line drive center field. It's going to get down. Another knock for Scudero. Let's take a look at our AT&T trivia question. Marco trying to see his third base coach, Richie Dower. What's the sign? Did you put something on?
Run 90 feet and turn left, son.
In Rockies history, there have been 7 players to lead off a game with a home run more than once. How many can you name? Tyler Colvin did it for the first time last night. But again, you had to have done it more than once. 7 guys. It's a good question.
Did you look that up?
No, I had nothing to do with this. Dougie came up with it. Tyler Colvin, a strikeout and a pop out. Giant shadows. Marco Scudero, not the largest man, but look at the shadow that he casts.
How do you think these guys right back here are feeling right now on a ball? Somebody put leather on it.
Oh, 2, and that's high. 1 and 2. Rockies are 0 and 7, the only winless team in interleague play this year. Overall, the American League leading the National League again, 56 wins to 46. It's been a long time, George, since the National League won the season series. That's in 2 and 2. You have to go all the way back to 2003. When the National League won 137 games, the American League 115. Since then, it has been clear and total domination by the junior circuit.
Do you think, and people have said to me, do you think it is the DH involved? I said, well, hey, you get to use the DH too. I mean, you know, and the American League guys get to use the DH too.
I think
the National League's using the DH when they go in the American League Park, so you're using one of your bigger hitters. We got one of the best in Giambi.
Just top to bottom, there are more outstanding players, I think, in the American League than the National League. Here's a comparison this year. The American League has hit 16 points higher. They have 35 more home runs, far better earned run average. And, well, the DH this year is
100 points higher.
This ball's driven to deep right center. It's got a chance to get out again. Kadire with his second of the night. And the Rockies get a couple of runs back. That is the 150th career home run from Michael Kadire. 8-5 Rockies. and we've got tacos on top of it.
Same exact pitch. It looks like fastball down, but it got into the center of the plate. I mean, that looks like an identical pitch to the one he hit out earlier in the ball game.
Fifth home run of the night. Helton at the plate, 1-1. Seventh time in Kadayer's career that he's produced a multi-home run game. First in a Rockies uniform. The Cuddy Man can. Big night from Michael Kadayer. He's got 42 ribbies now to go with the 9 home runs. 2-2 on Helton. 14,000 more raised in the name of prostate cancer research. Todd gets underneath this one. Chasing in center field, Colin Cowgill. That'll end the inning, but another good inning offensively. The Rockies have scored 3 of the 4 frames against Tommy Malone. 2-run home run, Michael Kadayer. Rockies leading the A's 8-5. We go to the 5th. Leading 8-5. It's Wednesday night, so we go down to the dugout and check in with Jim Tracy. Trace, at Michael Kadayer swinging the bat. I have to ask you, have you seen in your time in a Rockies uniform this ballpark play seemingly as it did pre-Humidor?
No, I haven't, and I've been asked that question a lot the last couple of days, Drew. You know, I don't have any explanation for it, but it's certainly playing a lot differently up to this point in relation to when I started managing the club in 2009. I wish I had an explanation for you, but I don't.
Sneak out another inning from Outman?
That's what we're trying to do, George. And if, in fact, we can, we'll get to use this bullpen for the first time in a while and piece it together the way I'd like to.
Well, you got a nice lead to do it with.
Yes, we do. Hopefully we can hold on to it.
Trace, good luck the rest of the way.
See you guys.
Jamal Weeks fires at the first pitch in the top of the 5th inning. He fouls it off. Weeks has hit it on the ground twice to the left side. Once to Scudero, and his last time up, he was robbed by Jordan Pacheco. Did Ricky steal all the protein in the kitchen when they were growing up from Jamal?
Apparently.
Treated him like the little brother, huh?
I know a year ago they were very excited about this young man, still are very excited about the potential that he brings to the plate, to the field, leadership. Pretty good player. Chased after a breaking ball there, flips the bat in disgust. Rosario will complete it.
That is 4 strikeouts for Josh Outman. Weeks gone. Colin Cowgill coming up.
For a great deal, I ask about the Sweet 6-packs with savings up to 25% off the regular price. Call the Rockies right now for immediate availability. 303 Rockies. Moscoso is loosening up for the Rockies down in the bullpen.
Cowgill a single and a strikeout. George, it's just been one of those situations that any type of quote-unquote mistake, it's not roped for a hard single or maybe a double. It's hit out of the ballpark.
It's been a little ridiculous. I mean, what I've watched here is like the games I watched when I came here in 1997, 98. You know, they thought it was fun baseball when it was 15-12. If you like offensive games, yeah. But after a while, pitchers struggle, and you see a lot of high earned run average. Couldn't wait to get on the road. So maybe you have a home and road pitching staff.
Let me ask you something. In all seriousness, are you concerned with the fact that you have a young pitcher, for instance, in Friedrich, who's been brilliant on the road and has an ERA of 12 plus at home, 180 out on the road? You have a guy that's been a tough veteran who's used to pitching in tough ballparks against high quality teams, and Jeremy Guthrie. He has really struggled. He admitted it after the ball game that the altitude is somewhat playing with his mind. Is that concerning to you?
That they're saying it's playing in their mind?
You know, when you have a veteran guy that's bothered, and then you have a young guy who has these dramatic splits so early on.
For me, and this is something I think that's a growing learning process. What pitchers have the Rockies had that have been young guys that came to the big leagues and had success? Aaron Cook, obviously, point to him. Jason Jennings, another guy you point to, rookie of the year, won 16 ball games. Ubaldo Jimenez had a phenomenal first half, won some ball games here. And Jeff Francis. The only guy out of all those guys I'm mentioning that were terrifically hard throwers was Ubaldo. So he could throw that 98-mile-an-hour fastball and get away with it in this ballpark up in the strike zone. Plus, he had 3 other plus pitches that went along with it. I think for the guys that have had success here, what was Jennings and Cook? Hard sinker ball guys. Kept the ball on the ground. Didn't let the ball get airborne very much. You know, Jeff Francis ran the ball. He had enough fastball. He could get on, get inside with you. He could spin a curveball to you. Sean Estes, not a guy that threw particularly hard, but had a good curveball and command of it. And I think with younger kids, when a curveball hangs, they try to throw it harder. Try to create more spin with arm speed, and when you do, the ball's going to hang here in altitude. It's been a proven fact. So I think, you know, it's a matter of learning to understand the ballpark. And do you have the patience, and do they have, you know, when I say inner strength, I'm talking about guts. Do you have the guts to stand here and take some beatings till you understand what you have to do in this ballpark and not have it destroy you as a player mentally? No different than the players that are hitting, you know, 370 here in this ballpark, and they go on the road and they hit 240.
And that's a concern, because we've seen some really good pitchers. This should be two. There's two. Some really good pitchers that haven't been able to handle it here. Mike Hampton, he had success after he left. The late Darryl Kyle struggled and had a 20-game win season after he left. Frontiers Day, let me say that again. Cheyenne Frontier Days is coming up. Text Cheyenne to 720-720 for your chance to win Blake Shelton tickets. And you'll be entered to win tickets to other concerts, championship bull riding, ball games, and the VIP grand prize drawing as well. Visit RockyMountain.rootsports.com for official rules. New pitcher for the Oakland A's. Tommy Malone's gone after 4 innings. He allowed 8 runs on 7 hits. The Jose Cuervo call to the bullpen. And it's former Rocky, really on 2 occasions. Jim Miller's in. He was drafted by the Rockies, didn't reach the big leagues initially with the Rockies, went on to Baltimore, got up in 2008, and then last year was back with the organization, pitched most of the year in Colorado Springs, did get in 6 games last year with Colorado, and now he's on to Oakland.
Second stint with Oakland this year, but he kept putting up zeros and proving the points, so he continues to get the opportunity here. Good fastball, 95 miles an hour. Was traded for Aurelio Rodriguez, is that right? Yeah, it was, wasn't it? No, Lopez. With the Orioles is who we traded him originally for. Yeah, Rodrigo Lopez, the right-handed starter.
Aurelio Rodriguez was a third baseman for the Detroit Tigers about 30 years ago.
How about you throwing that out there?
That was a good one. We haven't gotten an Aurelio Rodriguez mention in a while.
Rodrigo Lopez. I had something working close by.
Yeah.
I had Doug scrambling. He was all over that computer.
Checo turns and lines it into the crowd foul. Jordan's 1 for 2.
Miller last year for Colorado Springs led the ball club in the save category. Out of the bullpen for them had a September call up. Was taken off the roster, took advantage of the minor league free agency and signed with the Oakland Athletics, and here he is in the big leagues.
Here's the 1-2. Fastball on the ground to second. Weeks will backtrack. 1 out. Let's answer the AT&T trivia question. 7 players have hit multiple home runs in the leadoff spot to begin a ball game for the Rockies. Eric Young, we know, has done it. Eric Young Sr. He did it 8 times. Cargo, remember, he was hitting leadoff for the Rockies a couple of years ago. Nafy, Perez, Dexter's done it. Darrell Hamilton, Aaron Miles, and Ryan Spilborghs. Check lately, George. How's Spilly doing in AAA with Texas?
Actually, has been swinging the bat very well there. He's in Round Rock. Started the year out with Cleveland's AAA team, and Texas acquired him, obviously for insurance. And they struggle against left-handed pitching, and Spilborghs had hit .351 right-handed against the left-handed pitching in AAA. So they took advantage of it, picked him up for cash considerations, playing in Round Rock.
2-strike count on Willeen. A strikeout and a ground out. Miller will challenge you. This young man, 23-year-old Willeen Rosario, will hit a fastball. He can hit him really far.
96 with the last fastball. See if he goes to the cutter. That's kind of the other pitch he'll utilize in situations. A really hard cutter / slider. Try to keep the ball away. Elevated that last fastball. Willeen just missed it.
Here's up-to-date stats on Ryan Spilborghs in Round Rock, George, as you were talking about. 34 games, 4 home runs, 21 ribbies, a .357 average. So good for Ryan.
Won't be long.
We'll be in Texas in a little more than a week. Looking forward to that. It's been a while since we've been in Arlington. 1-2. 2-2.
Well, they will swing the bats. I'll give you a little heads up, Drew. They're going to swing the bat a little bit. And since Mike Maddox showed up as a pitching coach and talked his brother Greg Maddox up to coming to spring training with him and helping, the pitching has gotten a whole lot better.
3-2. So they can swing the bats, you say?
They're pretty good at that.
Really?
Yeah.
Chris Nelson on deck.
Ottavino, the right-hander, Adam Ottavino, is warming up in the Rockies bullpen, telling me the night's done for Alton. That missed by a mile. Are they going to even check it? I guess apparently not.
A 1-out walk to Willeen Rosario. Well, a reminder, tacos for everybody tomorrow. The Rockies have scored 7. Don't forget to go to your participating Taco Bell locations tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Nelson, an intentional walk in the first, struck out looking on a pitch that may have been in the third. Jim Miller and Chris Nelson, teammates last year in Colorado Springs. Jim probably thinking, man, why'd they put the humidor in after I left?
How about, do you remember Brad Eldred?
Sure, I saw him playing in AAA. I was watching a ball game with the boys yesterday.
24 home runs, 64 RBIs in 59 games right now. AAA, and he's hitting .314. He got a call up the other day to the big leagues. And it was sitting down a couple of days later. I want to say it was with the Mets.
What? He had some home runs here. Why?
He's with Detroit, excuse me.
Why does he not get an extended look? He's going to strike out a ton. He's not the only guy to play in the big leagues that strikes out a lot and then can hit it, over the moon. There's been a lot of those guys, from Dave Kingman to Mark Reynolds today, Adam Dunn.
Well, every time he's tried to give him the opportunity here at the big leagues, those power numbers did not come forward. And I think that was the one thing. They can live with strikeouts if he can drive in runs and hit the ball out of the ballpark.
That is one large, strong man.
90 games at the big league level. He's hit 15 home runs in 90 games, 109 strikeouts, and 270 at bats.
But it's a small sampling. Still, you get some home runs, sure. 15 home runs.
There's something there that somebody doesn't like.
It's fouled off down the right field line. It warranted just a casual glance from Seth Smith in right field, the first baseman Brandon Moss. Jim Miller, second pitcher, utilized tonight by Bob Melvin. Rockies trying to end a 6-game slide. They had a 6-game slide earlier this year. They've not lost 7 in a row. There goes the runner, and the throw by Donaldson into center field. Pop-up slide. Rosario's heading to third. The throw there is not going to get him. Willeen Rosario. Stolen base. Moves up to third on the throwing error by Josh Donaldson.
Melvin not very happy with the ability of his catcher. He now has 6 errors on the season. Donaldson, he plays multiple positions. 4 have come from behind the plate. Here's a quick throw, dead center field, well out of the reach of everybody. Cowgill not on the move immediately, so that allowed Rosario to pop up. I thought if Cowgill got there a little bit quicker to that baseball, he might have a shot at Rosario. Good hustle, good result. Hopefully if they get a fly ball here.
2-2's fouled off. Infield comes in halfway. Willeen with 3 stolen bases. I've said it many times. He loves to show off that aspect of the game, of his game. And people think, oh, stocky catcher doesn't run well. Not the case. This is a young man who just loves to play. 3-2 outside. And it's a first and third situation.
2 batters in a row.
Josh Outman is not going to hit here after 5 innings of work. It'll be Eric Young Jr., the middleman. How many games we don't see Junior pinch hitting of late in the middle innings. And this is a perfect guy in this situation for Jim Tracy, because now you have a first and third deal. There's 1 out. You have the potential 9th run at third base. And there aren't many guys that are tougher to double up than Eric Young Jr.
Yeah, it's got to be a hard shot hit directly at somebody in the infield, and this is where you're having a little conference on the mound and getting back squared up, throwing strikes, talking about Jim Miller. Hitting the road, well, subscribe to MLB.TV to see every Rockies Out of Market game online and on your favorite devices in HD quality when you're not at home. The move to be able to enhance your chances of watching Rockies baseball.
And EY in 54 at bats this year has not grounded into a double play. Inge is about even with the bag, and Junior fouls it off. It's one of those things, if you get a shot following the eyeballs of Eric Young, subtle way, he'll always check where that third baseman is. Talking to Junior about Mike Trout's speed the other day. So I said, I'd like to see you two guys race. And he was proud of the fact that Trout's another fellow Jersey boy.
And Trout, I tell you what, I got to watch him last year, Tulsa, about 25 ball games. I'm going to tell you what, they gave Adams Player of the Year there. The young man is playing first base for the Cardinals because he hit 35 and home runs, drove in 115. Trout was an excitable player. I mean, it's just. Numerous scouts walked out of that ballpark saying, I might have just watched a future All-Star for about 10-12 years. He's proving that right now.
And Eric Young fouls it into the glove of Josh Donaldson. 2 outs. So Dexter Fowler will try to pick him up. This is one of the areas Dexter's excelled at, hitting with runners in scoring position this year. 0 for 2 tonight in a walk, scored a run in the first. And that's a strike. Dexter 9th in the league with a .343 average with runners in scoring position, and even better, as you saw in that graphic, when there's 2 outs. First and third. Nelson at first, Rosario at second, and it's 1-1. Who would guess this? On June the 13th, Dexter with a .540 slugging percentage. Second best on the Rockies to Cargo. And this is looped to second, and Weeks will throw out Dexter Fowler. A couple of walks, runners left at first and third. We'll go to the 6th inning. The Rockies leading the A's 8-5. Yard by Marriott, Western elegance in the cultural heart of the city. And by Ram Trucks, guts, glory, Ram. Back at 20th and Blake, the Rockies leading the A's 8-5, top of the 6th inning. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, and Mark Stat. Adam Ottavino's on. And with a 1.69 ERA and a low whip, the league average is about 135. That means walks plus hits per inning pitch. How many base runners per inning? When you're down right at 1, that is tremendous.
Yeah, National League average last year 133, I think, or 138. But again, when you're down in that area working out of the bullpen, tells you one thing: so they're not walking people. They're not giving up a lot of hits when they're pitching, but the big key is coming out of the bullpen throwing strikes. Jim Tracy is a manager that is dying for guys to pound the strike zone. And if you don't coming out of the bullpen, there's not a very good chance or opportunity for you to pitch in a game.
What is a sandwich draft pick that you mentioned earlier, Bob, in Westminster? This ball's well hit to left field, and this one's gone. Johnny Gomes makes it 8-6. Johnny's had a pretty nice night considering he didn't start. He came in when Cespedes re-injured his hamstring. He had a double in his first at bat that nearly went out, and he just poked a home run there. His first home run since May the 5th.
That's being kind of rude when you come right out of the bullpen like that. Treat you like that. This guy's always had a ton of strength, though, in his arms, and you let a ball get down. He likes to drop the bat and kind of have that upward swing and really drive the baseball. And he got one there to drive, and he did do that. 8-6 ball game.
And it's 0-2 on Brandon Inge.
They don't get very high. That's pretty good laser right there. I mean, a lot of the players on the Rockies said, you know, that have been around for a while, veteran guys, and guys on opposing teams said, man, has the humidor been unplugged? I mean, this park's playing huge again. There's been so much conversation about it. When you hit balls like Johnny Gomes just hit that, humidor or no humidor, it's going to get out of the ballpark. Both of Kadyr's balls were crushed. Todd Helton's grand slam.
Well, there's been 6 home runs already. Remember that ball game a couple weeks ago on Sunday in Cincinnati when 9 balls were hit out between the Reds and Rockies. Rockies lost the game. They hit 5 solo home runs. And another $14,000 has been raised in the name of prostate cancer research. Who cut Johnny's hair?
A lot of guys are going to that shaved side, a little longer top on the backside. I just don't think that'd be a good look for me or you, though.
No, I went with the inverse. Swung on and missed by Josh Donaldson.
Well, on the Rockies Toyota inning here, you notice some people were talking about Grand Junction. I know there's a lot of excitement at Grand Junction right now about the Rockies Rookie League team getting ready to start their season up there.
Slider swung through. Let me answer that question again. We didn't answer the sandwich pick because Gomes interrupted us with the home run.
Well, actually, it's the round between first and second is what it is.
That's the simplest way. And the reason there's a round of picks there is if you have a free agent that you don't sign, that signs with another club. They're type A free agents, type B free agents. If you lose, for instance, Minnesota losing Michael Kadire, that's a type A free agent. Statistically, they have a way of grading the players. Next year in the draft, or actually this year in the draft, Minnesota received a supplemental pick. The Rockies received the 46th pick in the draft this year, a supplemental or sandwich pick for losing Mark Ellis to the Dodgers. So hopefully that answered your question. Oh, 0-1 on Brandon Moss. Lefties against Ottavino. 3 for 17.
Harlingen, Texas. Bob writing in, talking about the Rockies trying to go to 9-2 on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I mentioned they're 8-2 on Wednesday. They haven't figured out Sunday the last year and a half. 2-8 this year on Sunday. And of course, last year they lost 17 straight Sundays. Still, that's an amazing streak. Ottavino thought he'd painted the inside corner at 96. Keep saying this, George. This guy's been a nice find.
Well, he really has been. I mean, he didn't fit into anything that the Cardinals were doing because they basically looked at him as a starter. The Rockies thought that his stuff would work well coming out of the bullpen, and it's done just that.
Rex Brothers warming up for the Rockies.
Blevins, the left-hander for Oakland.
Jerry Blevins. Bob Melvin saying before the ball game that he's been here plenty of times when the ball has been flying. It's been flying the last 2 days. 2-2 swung on and missed. Ottavino gets his second man of the inning. Johnny Gomes hit a home run to lead the inning off. It is 8-6 Colorado.
At 8-6 here as we head to the bottom of the 6th. Let's get you tonight's Chevy's Dare to Compare, brought to you by the Chevy Equinox. 32 highway miles per gallon, outperforms its competitor. Chevy, made for Colorado. Last 10 games, hottest hitters in the National League. You see Tyler Coleman at the top of the list, 583. Yeah, he's 0 for 3 tonight. I'm going to put the anti-whammy on him as he's going to hit second in this inning and hopefully get a hit, get a knock here for the Rockies. Back upstairs, we go to Drew and George. Guys?
That's a nice 10-day run for Tyler Coleman. He'll follow Marco Scutaro here. And the pitch from Jim Miller misses, ball 1. Second inning of work for Jim Miller. Seven hits for each side, and a base hit for Marco Scutaro, his third single of the night. He quietly has been raising that average considerably over the last few weeks.
And why has he done that? Because he's gone to right field and back up the middle. I think that's been the biggest part of it. He hasn't tried to do too much with the baseball. Tell you what, that's pretty good focus, concentration. His head following the ball into meeting the bat. A lot of base hits to right, too.
One strike count on Colvin, the Clemson product. And this ball off the end of the bat, a flare to center. It is caught, and this is going to result in a double play as Scudero was running. So Calgill with the easy double up as he throws it to Brandon Moss. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Michael Kadire, the hitting star of the night, along with Todd Helton for the Rockies. Kadire down the line. This should be a double. Have a night, Michael Kadire. Walk and a run scored in the first. Home run in the second. 2-run home run in the fourth. And now a 2-out double in the sixth.
Well, let's see what this pitch. It appeared to be a fastball, a running fastball that came to the inner half of the plate. Kadire gets out early and shoots that thing right past Hinge down into the corner. As they get into this grass, it rolls back into that corner. All they can do is wait for it to pop out again for Johnny Gomes. The doubles leaders right now, Kadire with 22, Joey Votto with 26. This is where you go out to the mound and you say, hey, I know you were in the organization for a while, but if you haven't noticed with guys in scoring position, this guy 17's been doing it a long time, and he's pretty good at it. So maybe we ought to think about 4 sliders in the dirt and see if he'll bite on anything. And let's try to face the youngster and Pacheco right behind him. They fought their way back to make it a 2-run ball game, meaning the Oakland A's. They trail 8-6. Todd trying to add on to it.
Todd in an interesting portion of his career, because virtually every other night we can pass along to all of you that he has moved up another list and moved in front of a name that is among the best to ever play the game. For instance, tonight with the Grand Slam, he now has 1,340 RBIs. He passed the original Big Cat, Hall of Famer Johnny Mize, into 84th on the all-time Ribby list.
See, we talk. This is what gets me a little bit, because people want to talk about this as far as Hall of Fame type thing. I think he's a Hall of Famer personally, but I don't think there's any doubt about it. But yet we talk about him passing Hall of Fames. Johnny Mize, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame. All these numbers he passed, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame. Yet some people want to discount Todd going into the Hall of Fame, and I just don't get it.
I think when you add all the numbers up, when the career is done, you will say Hall of Famer. Now, cheating up the middle's Cliff Pennington, and he's able to throw out help. So Kadire left on board after doubling. Rockies had a couple of hits, do not score. We move to the 7th, 8-6, they lead. Time for the Cooney Lexus Look Back, brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. A lot of home runs tonight. Seth Smith in the first inning hit a 2-run home run against Josh Outman. Todd Helton, bases loaded, home run in the Rockies half of the first. Second inning, Kadire went deep to extreme right center field. In the fourth inning, it's Brandon Moss, who hit 2 last night. He goes oppo. There's Kadire again, this time with a man aboard. Sixth inning, Johnny Gomes with a home run. Once again, you need a calculator at Coors Field. 6 home runs tonight. The Rockies have an 8-6 lead. We go to the 7th inning. Cliff Pennington will lead it off. And Rex Brothers is on board for the Rockies. Dominant inning yesterday. He'll face Pennington. And then a pinch hitter.
Now Coco Crisp has jumped out into the on-deck circle, switch hitter. They have Matt Belisle starting to throw down in the Rockies bullpen to get loose. Rex runs into trouble here in the 7th. Matt, one of those guys that can go multiple innings.
Two-strike count on Pennington. Challenges with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Bouncer foul. Good feed by Gags.
I didn't ask Mike, how's his son doing?
I talked to Mike. Nico is in the Midwest League, and as some organizations do, and he's not with the Oakland organization, but with some organizations,
with Arizona.
They don't play their guys at that level every day. Nico's playing about every third day, and he's struggling a little bit with the bat, but he's always been a terrific defender, as Mike was. And safe at first. Scudero kind of guided that over.
Yeah, he didn't throw the ball hard. I don't know why he didn't. That's just one of those errors that you're going to absorb that should not have happened. Period. 6th error for Scudero. See him take that step and cheat over on the slider when the pitch was thrown. Then he just got underneath it, and we call that in baseball chicken winging. That's when the elbow drops and you just flip it up underneath, and when you do, you have a tendency to sail and fade the baseball. And that's exactly what happened.
So an error on Scudero. And Coco Crisp at the plate. Rarely a good time for an error, but not in a 2-run game. Leadoff hitter, and now the top of the order coming up after Crisp. Crisp has been in a horrendous slump since coming off the disabled list. 9 for his last 70. It's 2-0 on Coco Crisp. Want the latest updates from Root Sports? Do as George does. Text alerts to 720-720 and receive text message updates from Root Sports all season long. George doing something I haven't seen him do since he pitched for the Twins in '87.
Called a bad back. Stretching it out a little bit there.
Three and 32-year-old Coco Crisp. And that's in there for a strike. Coco, some productive years with the Red Sox. He was part of the Red Sox in '07. Took out the Rockies in a 4-game sweep in the World Series. He just walked there. So the error has put a runner at second. The walk puts a runner at first. Nobody out. And Jim Tracy has had that look on far too regular basis.
Well, you're looking, trying to figure out matchups, trying to do things. And hey, listen, errors are a part of the game. That's where, as a pitcher, you got to come back, pick that guy up, get you a double play ball, get a strikeout if you're Rex Brothers.
Bob Melvin showed yesterday, George, that early in the game he would play small ball in a ballpark that's relinquishing a lot of runs. I was surprised by it. I know you were surprised by it. And now down 2 runs with a small ball type of player at the plate in Jamal Weeks. I would think we'll probably see a bunt here.
I would too. I would think that definitely. Cowgill's a fly ball guy. Smith left on left if they're able to leave it in and let Rex Brothers take him.
Smith would be the last guy that Brothers would face.
Rockies are playing bunt. Left-hander on the mound makes it an easier throw to third base. Weeks doesn't show it. And the reason I say that, most right-handers, when you pick the ball, you swirl around and twirl around and throw the ball to third base. With the left-hander, you can just pick it and go straight to third. You got a pretty good athlete on the mound with quickness in Rex Brothers.
Yeah, but you have good speed at second base. You know what play the Rockies don't run all that much that they used to? They used to run it a lot under Clint Hurdles, the wheel play, but wouldn't make sense with the kind of speed you have at second. Weeks not showing bunt, 1-1. Catchers are busy creatures. The first game of any series, this is obviously the second game of the series, you have pitchers meetings that all the pitchers go to and that you have to attend as well. And then you also have to go to the hitters meetings.
He's got a lot on his shoulders for a young player. No question about it. To try to figure all those out.
And Weeks fouls this off. And once again, Rosario and Brothers will meet. George, twice in a row. What could this be about?
Well, that's what's a runner out at second. Signs that they're looking for right here. What are you going to go with? Rex is thinking no, second sign, maybe third. A lot of times guys out of the bullpen, it's not as complex as starters like to use.
Yeah, but you just had a meeting 1 pitch ago.
Obviously didn't get it right. You're going out to make sure things are right.
Weeks' brothers got over there, but Weeks runs too well. That's a tough turn, 3-6-1. So it's a 3-6 force out. 1 out, runners on the corners, and that'll bring up Colin Cowgill.
Tell you what, you really got to make sure your pitcher is there if you're going to make this throw. And the reason I say that, brothers got there, but if you make an awkward throw, see, I had to go back to get the baseball. You got to make the perfect throw on the 3-6-1. If you don't, you're in trouble. Jim Tracy's not going to wait for Seth Smith to get there. He's going to make the move and go get Matt Belisle. Only two inherited runners have scored on Matt Belisle. He's going to inherit first and third and 1 out.
8-6 is the score. We're back right after this pitching change. One of those situations. First and third, Colin Cowgill coming up, and reliable Matt Belisle on the hill. Hey, time for today's CenturyLink high-speed pitch, fast speed, and a low monthly price. Visit CenturyLink.com. Josh Outman touched 96 with his heater. Tommy Malone 90. Outman, by the way, went 5 innings, allowed 5 runs on 5 hits, a walk and 4 strikeouts.
81% success rate for Belisle of not allowing inherited runners to score. His ability to throw strike one has always been a big part of his success. He's retired to first batter face 70% of the time this year. Looking to turn 2 here and get in the dugout with a 2-run lead.
And that's fouled late into the seats down the right field line. Two and one. Ground ball through the right side, a base hit. Pennington scores, and Weeks stopped at second. So an RBI hit for Cowgill. And now Seth Smith coming up to face his old teammate Matt Belisle, and Smith among the hottest hitters in the big leagues over the last week.
Four-seam fastball. Belisle's trying to run to the outside corner. You see that ball ran back to the hitter. And Cowgill, just an inside-out swing, shot it past Helton, who was holding on the Weeks at first base. He says, nice job of hitting.
Smith, a two-run home run in the first, a strikeout, and he grounded into a 4-6-3 double play. Weeks at second, Cowgill at first. Good speed on base. Smith in the first inning crushed one to right center, and he knew it. So did Josh Outman. Two doubles last night for Seth. Seems like when he was in a Rockies uniform, he did most of his damage, George, from the seventh inning on.
Well, he's in the seventh inning, but he's also behind in the count 0-2 now from Belisle. Breaking balls away to the backside made it a little more difficult on him. 257 this year with runners in scoring position, 13 RBIs. He's walked 13 times.
Two-strike count on Smith. This one out. Seth Smith against Matt Belisle, and it's lined on one hop. What a pickup by Nelson for one on to first, not in time. Boy, Chris Nelson saved a run there and actually produced an out. That's the second fancy pickup he's had in the last 2 days playing second base, and most of his reps this year, George, have come at the hot corner.
Well, how about the one he made up the middle early in this ball game when he backhanded that up the middle and was able to throw him out? This time a hard pick. Scudero unable to get the ball onto first base. This ball, as hard as this was hit, I thought they had a shot at first on Seth Smith. Now you got right-handed Gomes, big time power. Well, we've seen that so far in the ball game. Belisle on the hill, right against right.
Johnny Gomes did plenty of damage with the Reds the last couple of years.
Good fastball hitter, middle half, wants the ball in that area about where Willian's left shin guard is. Loves the ball right down here in this area. Counter with moving the ball away. He starts with that open stance, and that's where he'll try to chase after. There's that hard slider. Boy, that's a good pitch.
Good pitch, a chase type pitch, especially with a free swinger like Gomes. He didn't go for it.
And it just off of the plate. Belisle put it right where he wanted to.
Gomes finished last year with Washington. One and one. .124 career home runs for Johnny Gomes. Came up with Tampa. Two and one. He's one of those guys, George, that hit 18, 20 home runs in half a season worth of at-bats. Been that kind of platoon outfielder. Ground ball is short, should get you out of the inning. Scudero flips to Nelson, one run in the inning, and it's an 8-7 ball game. Time now for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Todd Helton hit a grand slam earlier tonight. Here's how it left the bat and ultimately the ballpark. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. Rockies had an 8-5 lead. The Athletics have chipped away. It's now 8-7 as the Rockies will hit in the bottom of the 7th inning. Coco Crisp stays in the ball game. He's in center field. And Colin Cowgill is now in left field. And on the hill, Blevins has come into the ball game.
A little surprising, 2 right-handed hitters in a row. He's got some right-handers left down there. Balfour, of course, went 2 innings last night, but Scribner and Cook. He goes to the left-hander, going to face 2 right-handers in a row here. And it could be the fact that late in the game, a couple of guys get on base. His thinking is, I'll keep Giambi on the bench with the lefty out there if he can get through these for a couple of right-handers.
It'd be interesting to see how the Rockies do this, George. In a perfect world, you want Matt Belisle to pitch the 8th inning also, but he's due up 4th this inning. Now you do have a 1-run lead. I'm just wondering if there's traffic out there. If Jimmy Tracy will opt for the big bat, chance to add on. 2-1 on Jordan Pacheco against Jerry Blevins.
It appears the right-hander Josh Renicke's warming up in the Rockies bullpen.
And maybe that's Jim's thought process, that it'll be Renicky handling the 8th. He's had terrific numbers all year. Well, if the Rockies go quickly and it's a 1-2-3 inning,
doesn't matter.
He has the option. Miller worked 2 scoreless innings. Jordan's 1 for 3, single and scored in the first. Deep fly ball to center and a ground ball to second. He's got his second hit of the night. Man, this dude can hit.
Well, if you're around the ballpark and you're thinking during the day, I'm down here to watch a game at night, I'd like to see this place. I want to see this beautiful ballpark. Well, take a tour of this ballpark. You can do it Monday through Saturday, year-round. Call 303-ROCKIES and take a walk around the yard. Go downstairs through the bottom tunnels. Get to see the humidor, the locker rooms, broadcast area. Great exhibit up here on this area now that from the beginning of digging the first pile of dirt out of here to start to build Coors Field. All the players that were signed early. First draft picks. A lot of signed jerseys. Big Cats jerseys out here.
Deep in the hole, nice pickup by Pennington, and they turn into a double play. Well, that's a fancy turn there. Pennington to Jamal Weeks on to first.
Just get rid of the ball in a hurry, and then you got to rely on quick hands. They've got a great teacher. Mike Gallego had some of the quickest hands of any coach, or any player, I should say. They played second base while in the big leagues with the Oakland Athletics. Pennington got rid of that ball in a hurry with a perfect feed to Weeks to complete that double play.
Chris Nelson at the plate, swung on and missed. He's out front on a couple of changeups from Blevins. Maybe 3 in under the chin. We're going to go in there again.
Remember that he was called out on strikes on a fastball in off of the plate when Malone was on the mound. So I'm sure Donaldson trying to think the same thing. Let's ride that ball in on his hands. Don't let him extend. Chris has done a nice job taking the ball into right center on a ball away.
And Blevins strikes out Chris Nelson. A 1-2-3 7th inning, and we'll go to the 8th. 8-7 Colorado.
Lead for the Rockies, trying to hold on against the A's. Interesting story about Oakland, the Athletics. They have a bunch of Australians on their team. There have been 6 Aussies that have played in the big leagues this year. 4 are in the A's system. Travis Blackley's a starter. Grant Balfour is a reliever. They're both on the team now. I talked to Blackley about the situation. He told me he got signed by the Giants this year because he pitched in the Australian Baseball League Championship for the Melbourne Aces against the Perth Heat. Said he threw 300 pitches in 9 days. Giants saw the game on MLB Network, signed him, and now he's here with Oakland. By the way, a teammate of his was Jason Hirsch, the former Rocky, who's trying to kind of get back into things. He played for Melbourne this winter, too. That championship, guys, was in February, and there's a little bit of a word that 2014, a team or some teams in MLB might open up the season in Australia, guys.
More and more players, as you mentioned, coming from down under. And every team has only Pacific Rim scouts, but folks that make their way down to Australia. We saw earlier this year with Seattle. A young player, Liddy, from Italy. Some players from Europe emerge now. 1 out as Inge is retired, and that'll bring up Josh Donaldson to face Matt Belisle. 1 out in the 8th inning. The Rockies 8 and the A's 7. Colorado trying to snap that 6-game losing streak. Their second 6-game slide of the year. Tomorrow's a day game, and then the Rockies will head to Detroit to begin an arduous 9-game trip that is still daunting, even despite the fact that Detroit and Philadelphia have underperformed based on expectations. And that's to Texas to face the Rangers. You don't see that happen much. Belisle doesn't walk anybody, much less on 4 pitches.
Detroit right now 5 games under 500, 6 back of the Chicago White Sox, who have gotten hot. continue to play well. Minnesota's playing very good baseball, 7-3 the last 10. They're starting to pick things up.
They have a long way to go.
They have a long way to go, but they're just 8 back right now in that division. Texas, though, 36-26, 3.5 game lead over the Angels. Philadelphia, a team that is in last place in the National League East, 9.5 back at 29-34. Washington continues to play great baseball. Washington won today 6-2 over Toronto.
Brandon Moss is behind 0-2. Rockies in the bottom of the 8th inning. We'll have a pinch hitter, Dexter Marco Scutaro.
Yesterday they threw the back foot slider here and swung and missed very badly. It was right back there on that area that breaks hard down and in.
Thing is, you can't miss there with this guy, George, because
but yesterday it was a backup slider that they missed with. It came to they wanted to go to the back door slider versus back foot. The back door slider has a tendency to run and stop here in the middle of the plate. It doesn't have the bite down.
That old line, and I know you adhered to this. If you're going to get beat by the long ball, make him hit it out of the ballpark the other way.
Well, absolutely. But if a guy proves to you he has difficult with a hard slider down and in, bury it on that back foot. I didn't say hang it. He hung it twice yesterday, and it went 905 feet, if I remember correctly. Twice.
Rockies have a pseudo shift on. Scutaro's almost right up the middle. Pacheco's playing a shortstop position. Good look at it.
And Outman went away with a fastball, and it was up about belt highway, and he did take it out to left field. And that's just a good old-fashioned back foot slider, but it was on the other side of the plate, a backup slider. I call him backup, back door. The danger of that pitch is if you don't place it just right, where it can get to the middle, and it becomes real hittable. Looking to do it again.
1-2. And Moss would not chase. Moss were to hit it on the ground at Pacheco. Scutaro would cover second. Swung on and missed. He went down in there, George, and got the strikeout, as you suggested.
Missed it badly last night with a good down slider. Smile, they're winning. This is exactly what he does. Mike Shaw, Subaru, Supermo. Hard slider down here. Swung right out over the top of it. I know Moss had told some people in Oakland after I swung and missed that first one, I became very conscientious of it and concerned. So I started looking there, and then they backed up two in the middle of the plate for me. I was able to hit them out of the ballpark. Well, not out of the woods yet. Pennington hit one to dead center field last night. Not the same home run threat as a Moss. Yeah, not a guy you want to make a mistake with.
Way out in front of that breaking ball, and it's 0-2. Belisle putting up numbers very similar to the guy that follows him typically when the Rockies are on the plus side. A guy he has the utmost respect for and has developed a close friendship. Rafael Betancourt, and Belisle gets the strikeout. A lot of strikeouts, very few walks. That's the MO of Matt Belisle. It's always been the MO of Rafael Betancourt. Good pitching with that slider by Belisle. 8-7 Rockies. time for the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Take your choice. There's been a few tonight. In fact, there's been two by that man, Michael Kadire. A solo home run and also a two-run home run tonight. Let's not forget we have a grand slam from Todd Helton in the first inning. It's the Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. DJ LeMahieu is going to pinch hit here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and then Dexter Fowler in the top of the order. Jerry Blevin's still out there. Strike one.
Well, LeMahieu's done a nice job since coming over here. Swung a bat well, played second base. The right side on a hit and run notion, and he's pretty good at doing that. Chris Nelson, though, has performed admirably both in the field and with the bat, and it's earned the playing time at second base.
Rockies have hit .293 in the pinch this year, which is really good. Right field Seth Smith. He knows that area of this ballpark exceptionally well. One gone. That'll bring up Dexter, who's 0 for 3 and a walk. Rockies would love to find some insurance for Rafael Betancourt in the 9th inning.
The Dugout Stores, that's where you can get everything Rockies, so make sure you go out on Purple Mondays and beyond. Call 303-832-TEAM for store info.
Dexter in from the right side. Slow curveball, misses, ball one. Crowd of 32,155 at Coors Field this evening. Dexter drives one to deep left field, but getting off the end of the bat a little bit, and Cowgill makes the catch. 2 outs. That'll bring up Marcos Scutaro, and Marcos had a very productive ball game. 3 hits and 4 trips. Blevins misses with the fastball away. Josh Outman is on the plus side in this game. Tommy Malone is on the losing side right now. Oakland had a 2-0 lead in the first. Rockies scored 5 in the bottom half of the first. Rockies the highest scoring team in baseball in the first inning this year. Seems like every night they score 64 runs in the first inning for the Rockies. By far their most productive inning. Who Wants Tacos fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more, as they've done tonight for the Rockies Taco Special, text the keyword taco to 720-720. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Next best inning for the Rockies is the 4th and 5th, where they've scored 40 runs. Actually, with the 2 runs tonight, it's 42 in the 4th. But 64 first inning runs. I mean, think about that. Tonight is game 61, so they average more than a run a game in inning number 1. They're generally getting off to a good start. Unfortunately, the opposition has scored a lot of runs early against a much maligned starting rotation for Colorado. Outside 3-2. The question was asked in the media gathering with Jim Tracy earlier today. if Jeremy Guthrie would make his next start, and Jim Tracy said yes, he will start in Detroit. He said, but we need to start seeing some good things from Guthrie. And this is going to be the 4th hit of the night for Marco Scutaro.
Well, we said in the last couple of at-bats, he's doing just a really nice job. Keep the ball on the ground, take it back up the middle or to the right side, particularly down. So you're not doing a whole lot here. Look at the head, though. Look at everything right on the baseball with his stare and a look down right here on the sweet part, and not trying to do a whole lot with that baseball. See, it's almost like a half, three-quarter swing on the ball, not trying to do too much. And obviously paying big dividends for Scutaro.
And second time, phrase, that he has produced a 4-hit game this year. Did it against the Mets back on April 27th. Ties his career high, 12th time in his career. Colvin pops the first pitch up, a breaking ball to Calgill in left center field. So we go to the 9th inning. The Rockies 8 and the A's 7. Rafael Betancourt time. Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Jack in the Box. Right now at Jack in the Box, you can try the new Chipotle Chicken Club Combo for just $4.99 plus tax. And by 5 Hour Energy. 5 Hour Energy fixes tired fast. The Rockies trying to fix this 6-game losing streak. 7 lead, top of the 9th inning. Rafael Betancourt warming up and doing the same. Way out in center field is our Joel Klatt. Joel?
Getting loose. We're ready to go. Rafael Betancourt trying to hold this one down right here. Hey, how about Mr. Clean? Michael Kadire hitting over 330 in the cleanup spot. Couple of jacks tonight. Nice night for Michael Kadire. Plus, grand prize, Todd Helton, his 2nd Grand Slam of the year. Let's hope this one holds up because the Rockies have hit some earlier in the season that did not. We'll get you downstairs for Jim Tracy sound as always. That's all coming up on the Toyota postgame show. Drew, back to you.
All right, Joel, thank you. We are looking forward to keep warming up, Joel. And Rafael Betancourt is on board with Chris Nelson now at 3rd, DJ LeMahieu at 2nd. LeMahieu stays in the ballgame. Betancourt is going to face Coco Crisp, Jamal Weeks, and Colin Calgill.
Been in a lot of ball games. 22, 1-1. You see the ERA, the innings pitched. He's done exactly what you anticipated. 10 of 11 at save opportunities for Betancourt. He pounds the strike zone. As a closer, that's what you need to do. A short, quick arm action. So that fastball that's 92, 93 will appear 94, 95. It gets on the hitters much quicker because of the arm action, the ability to hide it on the body line.
The league's hitting just 177. Against Rafael. 22 innings pitched. He's allowed 14 hits. He struck out 21. He's walked just 5. 2 of those walks were intentional. Said it many times about him, George. He is a pro's pro. He's a leader down in that bullpen. Did you see today for one of our, I think it was for Rockies All Access, little Rafi was getting interviewed.
Hangs out at the ballpark with Dad every single day. Got great manners. Hangs around in the dugout when Dad hits the outfield to work out and get everything in order for that ball game.
1 strike.
It's not the blazing fastball that makes him effective. It's the impeccable control, the ability to go inside, outside, and to be able to do it with 3 pitches. Lyle, an inning and 2/3, a hit, a walk, and a couple of strikeouts. Rex Brothers, a third of an inning, a run that wasn't earned.
And there's the great command. Crisp didn't like it. 93-mile-an-hour fastball, perhaps off the plate, but called a strike by Mike Winters.
2 of the 3 have been off the plate according to the Ford strike zone, but it is 1 and 2. Reputation gets you strikes also.
And he'll go out there again. This is poked to shallow right, and it's going to drop. There's a curveball and a bloop single. So Coco Crisp, who can fly, is at first base.
Way up on top of the hook, fooled by the pitch. Very good location. Look how far out in front he is on the swing. He threw his bat at it and hit it out in no man's land.
And it's another example of why many people believe, who've watched a ton of games here, that it's not the home run, the celebrated home run that gets you beat. A lot of times it's a hit like that that drops in front of an outfielder. That's not to say it wouldn't happen in other ballparks, but a less expansive outfield gives an opportunity for an outfielder to come up with that. So Jamal Weeks at the plate. Coco Crisp is 8 for 8 this year in stealing bases. He has stolen 31 straight going back to last year. He led the league last year, the American League, with 49. Actually, he was tied with Brett Gardner of the Yankees. And Betancourt tends to be pretty deliberate to the plate. Picked up the pace there, drag bunt, it's a beauty, and out at first base. That's a great play by Betancourt.
Better play with Helton too, because you're only a short distance from each other. So as a fielder, you don't know where the ball's going. Is it coming hard? Is it low? Is it high? What is it going to be? And I think that's one of the difficult things for a first baseman. That's a great bunt by Weeks. I mean, you couldn't have put it any better. But see where that ball is? That one hop Todd Helton down on his ankles. This was not a clean throw by Betancourt, but Helton was really spread out, anticipating the throw to go somewhere. That's not easy to do that and come up with the ball cleanly.
Yeah, George, because as you well know, it's kind of got that change up. There's not a lot of momentum coming toward the glove. Easy to bobble that one. Todd picked it beautifully, as he always seems to do. Cowgill with the tying run at second. Colin is 2 for 3 and a walk. The one-time Diamondback prospect, and he challenged him with a fastball.
Came over into Jared Parker with Jared Parker in that trade. They were able to send Cahill over to the Diamondbacks.
Parker's going tomorrow for the A's against Alex White in that afternoon affair. No television tomorrow afternoon. Crisp takes off for third. He got a huge jump.
Boy, now things really tighten up because fly balls, obviously. That becomes a scary part of getting this thing tied up. Stolen base, he's 32 for 32 now, Drew. Is that right?
32.
Going back to last year?
For 32.
Smart move, though, by Rosario. Don't make a throw. You don't have a shot. Just let him move on over there. Now you hope you can get the strikeout. Infield will be pulled in to knock down the ball to prevent Crisp from going to the plate trying to tie this thing up.
Crisp 9 for 9 this year. 1-1, the count on Cowgill. Swung on and missed on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball up and in.
Went in a great location in above his hands. Remember earlier on the base hit from Outman, the ball was up and he was able to get the ball into the outfield. This ball has a little bit of run, and at 93 got right by him. He swung right under the baseball.
More and more we've seen slider from Rafael Betancourt ahead in the count.
Fastball away here, trying to blow him up with it.
Major league record for most consecutive stolen bases without being caught. Vince Coleman in the late 80s with the Cardinals. 50.
I like the ability of this crowd getting behind Rafael Betancourt. The two-strike clap happening here at Coors Field.
1-2. Betancourt to work 90-91, George. Now in this kind of situation, he's dialed up 94.
Gone after a couple of extra miles an hour, and then you try to mix in a location with it. What they've tried to do is get the ball to that outside corner and a little bit off of the plate, catching more of the center of the plate. They want to take that heater and work it right out here. Rosario wants an elevated fastball. Betancourt wants to stay away and down. He elevated. He did what Rosario wanted him to do, not what he wanted to do.
Sometimes
or what
happens.
He was trying to do. And well, sometimes a motion like this too. You try to get a little bit extra and you jump out of that too quick.
Seth Smith, wouldn't you know it, is in the on-deck circle.
Can we pick somebody else?
Not allowed to. This situation potentially dripping with irony. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Excuse me, 3 balls and 2 strikes. The big scoreboard is wrong. 3-2 on Cowgill. And it's poked to right. Kadire coming on. Here comes Crisp. Here comes the throw to the plate. Did he get him? No. Creative slide by Crisp, and we have an 8-8 ball game. Anybody but Coco Crisp and maybe a Jamal Weeks.
The speed played the game here. He stole third, and then on the fly ball to right, the slide away. I mean, this is a great throw by Kadire, right on the money, about 3 feet up the line on the exchange. I thought he got him in the hand right there. Watch the backhand when it flies up in the air. Nope, got way by him. From up here on top, I thought maybe he had a shot at it. Rosario went out to get the baseball so he doesn't get a short hop. If you're wondering why he didn't stay back and block, because if he does, he's probably not going to catch the baseball. It's going to shoot by him.
A bloop single. The sac bunt, a stolen base, and then Crisp using that great speed to score on a mid-range fly ball. And we're tied at 8.
Cook, the left-hander, warming up. We had Kadire, Hilton, and Pacheco. Well, Pacheco's out of the game now, so pitcher spot coming up on a double switch.
1-1 on Smith.
The left-hander, Fuentes, warming up for one reason. Hilton, second reason, Giambi Gonzalez.
2-1 on Smith. 2-run home run in the first inning. 1 for 4.
It's been 9 days since the Rockies starting pitcher has won a ball game.
And it will move on to longer. We'll move on to at least a 10th day. This one's completely on the bullpens now. Another night where 8 runs is not good enough to get a W. Just keep coming back to it, George. I mean, not that we haven't seen runs scored here in the post-Humidor days, but with the regularity, it reminds me of 95, 96, 97. Every night, big numbers. Ball's in the air to center field, pretty deep. That's going way back. This one's off the wall. And Seth Smith will stop after a wide turn at second base. I think Dexter misread that baseball. I don't know if he would have caught it anyhow, but I think he thought it was just a deep fly ball. And then all of a sudden he took off, realizing he was hit better than he thought.
Well, this ball is hit right on the line. It's a changeup. See the awkward spin on the baseball, and it's an elevated pitch. And then it took off, and it continued to take off on Dexter. Dexter just had kind of a silly jump at the baseball trying to catch it, and it ricocheted off. Good hustle by Tyler Colvin to be able to get over and get to that baseball coming all the way from left field. Well, Reddick's going to come on and pinch hit now.
That's the pitcher spot. Josh Reddick leads the club in home runs with 14.
We'll go ahead and walk him. And then you got Inch standing in the on deck circle.
All started with that bloop single on a breaking ball off the end of Coco Crisp's bat, but he got it in play. And a good bunt by Jamal Weeks. Very nearly a first and second situation. He really bunting for a hit. They gave him a sacrifice. The biggest play was the swipe of third.
Huge play. Inch 3 for 21 in his career versus Betancourt. A lot of history in Cleveland and Detroit days between these two players. Correct that. 3 for 22. A home run. He struck out half of those 11 times.
Betancourt's thrown 22 pitches in the inning. Smith at second. He's the go-ahead run. Reddick is at first. And Inch swings and misses. Just missed. 1-1.
Not by much. Touched the outer part of the strike zone.
Blocked by Willeen Rosario. It's 2-1. Inge pulls it to third, and it gets past Chris Nelson. It took a bad hop. Smith will score. And coming around from first base is Reddick. He'll score standing up on what'll be a double for Brandon Inge, and it's 10-8 Oakland.
Now I'm going to say this. That ball was flat out smoked. I think Chris Nelson may have even taken a little bit of a shot off of the face. I mean, Inge comes up with his 4th career hit against Betancourt on the Mike Shaw Supermo. I mean, this ball flat gets out of there. I'm going to tell you what, you see Chris kind of grabbed the top of his head there. That ball, anytime a ground ball's hit that hard and it's into that corner as quick as it was, trust me, the ball was scalded.
Josh Donaldson with a 1-strike count. Coco Crisp, that enormous swipe at third, has made this all possible for Oakland. A lot of laughter in that dugout. There ain't any on the home side, I can guarantee you that.
Well, the strength so far, I mean, consistency and strength has been the bullpen. You'll probably see that man right there, Gonzalez, swing a bat here shortly. Him or Giambi. Pitcher slot is 2 up third.
1-2, swung on and missed. 3 runs in the inning for the Oakland A's, and they turned an 8-7 deficit into a 10-8 advantage. For Rockies All Access Game Day, we'll show you how much effort goes into putting a game on the air. Get the players' perspectives, take a look at the people behind the scenes that make it all happen on the game side and the television side. It's Rockies All Access Game Day, Saturday after the game. Some changes for Oakland. Reddick stays in the ball game in right field. Kurt Suzuki, the everyday catcher, will go back behind the dish. A guy that has been very tough to hit. One man by the name of Cook is on the mound.
Yeah, hard throwing right here. He came in the game last night and threw an inning, got his first major league save, a hit with a walk and a couple of strikeouts last night. 25 ball games he's thrown, and look at an earned run average 0.67 in 27 innings, 1 of 2 in save opportunities.
I don't like that. I think it should be a blown hold. A lot of times guys getting after the 7th and beyond, if you lose the lead, they give you a blown save. Dyer, who's had a heck of a night, is going to lead it off against Mr. Cook.
First career save yesterday for Cook. Kadire
struck out Kadire yesterday.
In the pitcher spot. Walk, home run, 2-run home run, and a double. Kadire takes the obligatory strike, and now the at-bat begins. 0-1. That's a heavy fastball, 97 miles an hour.
I want to know if he can go back-to-back days. Yesterday, threw over 20 pitches in the ball game. Gives you an answer right there at 97.
And a base hit to right for Kadire. 4th knock of the evening. He joins Marco Scutaro with 4 hits tonight.
2 big flies, a double and a single for Kadire in this ball game on an 0-2 pitch fastball down the middle of the plate. And Kadire, much like the other 2 home run pitches, down, center cut on an 0-2 count. Pretty difficult to show to a veteran guy. He'll make you pay for it. Kadire did just that.
Rockies have some ammo on their bench. The big man, Jason Giambi, is on deck, the former A MVP. And after that, Willeen Rosario is scheduled. You have Chris Nelson, but you have Carlos Gonzalez sitting on that bench as well. I guarantee he's not sitting anymore. He's got a hat on somewhere taking swings. Helton hit a grand slam in the 1st inning. He fouls that off Kurt Suzuki's glove. It's 1-1. Lead single by Kadire, and that's outside. 2-1. The Rockies have allowed 10 runs on 11 hits. There's Cargo around the bat rack. The Rockies have given up 10 runs in a game 8 times this year, 4 in the last 7 outings. This could be 2 though. Bobbled by Pennington, high throw, but it'll still get help. So Todd grounds into the 6-4-3. And now they're 2 outs and nobody on as Giambi will approach. Now the bullpen's been good for the Rockies for the most part, and they've had to eat up more innings than any other bullpen in the National League. Tonight, though, 5 runs charged to Outman in 5 innings and 5 runs charged to the bullpen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ottavino gave up a run. Brothers gave up an unearned run. And of course, Betancourt gave up 3 in the top of this inning.
Got him right on the foot. Slider.
That hit Giambi, and well, Rosario will hit. And this is a tip of the cap to Rosario's ability to hit a fastball. Ball getting the foot
right on the toe.
You could play the Gonzalez card right here, but again, Jim Tracy's going to give Rosario the opportunity, and of course Cook reads the scouting report and he says, no, the kid's not getting a fastball first pitch. He gets a slider.
I think Jim's thought process with this, if they hang one, the kid hits it out of the ballpark or gets a base hit, you got Gonzalez with the swing to try to tie it versus 2 outs.
Yeah, this a pop fly to right. It's going to be Josh Reddick, and the Rockies lose again. And this is a difficult pill to swallow. Not that the others were easy. Rockies, for the 8th time this year, blow a lead of 3 runs. They're up 8-5 in this game. They were up 8-7 in the 9th inning, and they fall 10-8. They've lost 7 consecutive games, their longest losing streak of the year. And they are 0-8, amazingly, in interleague play because all 8 games have been played at 20th and Blake.
That's what surprises me, Drew. Hard to understand or believe that.
It has been difficult.